Lake, and we're trying to eradicate flowering rush from the shoreline. In order to do that, the best opportunity for Chestermere is actually to do it during drawdown, because there are quite limited isolated populations of flowering rush, and we have special access because the water is drawn down every fall. And so here we are right now at fall, and it is drawn down. So I'm going to go through the steps of how to remove flowering rush carefully, because it does reproduce vegetatively, and if we do miss any of those pieces of roots, it can lead to fragments breaking off and floating downstream later on in the year, or regrowing from the pieces that we missed. So this is flowering rush, what it looks like in fall during the drawdown. It retains the leaves for a couple weeks. It is starting to get brittle and break up and dehydrate, but the leaves are still distinctively there. They usually do flop over a couple inches above the soil, and that's usually a key feature, so that's something to look for. And they also, throughout the summer, accumulate algae growth on the leaves, and then in the fall they turn into this kind of powder, papery kind of residue in the fall. So that's a key identifier for flowering rush. So I'm approaching this clump here from the outside, and I put my shovel in about 6 inches from the base, and I can identify that this is the base right here because there's kind of a fairly substantial clump of leaves coming from there. So we're gonna put our shovel in and kind of pry it up, and usually it sort of comes up as a clump. Now, not all of this needs to be harvested. We can kind of go through, but we are conscious of where we can see the leaves, and we want to kind of make sure we keep that line. So I can see that there's a vertical line here, and so I'm just kind of loosely breaking off everythhing outside of that. So this is the flowering rush root that I've dug up and washed, and so you can see how it reproduces. So it is a rhizome. It will send out this shoot and send up leaves as far as you will let it. It is also capable of producing these bulbs called bulbules on the side of the rhizomes. When this breaks off, that little piece is all you need to start a new flowering rush. So that's what we're concerned about, those bulbules being broken and dropped, as well as any piece of root being broken off is also viable. This is what we're trying to trace when we're digging. We're trying to find that line, get to the side of it, put your shovel in, pry it up, and then start tracing those lateral roots. So that's basically what I'm trying to pull up, the entire root system. None of these fine roots are viable if they get broken off, but anything that has the white pith in the middle, that would be a viable root piece that we would need to trace and follow as far as we can to get all of it. Once we have this isolated, we are going to bag it for disposal. Bag or tub or a 5-gallon pail, up to you what you want to use for your vessel. So none of the leaves are viable. If you break any of these off, you don't have to worry. They will not be able to start new plants or populations downstream. It's just the roots that we're worried about. And we have actually yet to find viable seeds on flowering rush as well, so we're just worried about vegetative growth. Sometimes you can kind of grab a leaf and trace it and make sure it doesn't end anywhere, that it's rooted to the ground, but for the most part I think that's it, and that's how you remove flowering rush by hand. City of Chestermere has agreed to partner up with the residents and work on disposal. They will have a bin dedicated solely for flowering rush removal out at the Public Works building.